Hello, this is Loopline, and this is a basic getting started guide. So I'm going to approach it from two angles. I'm going to approach it from the monthly membership option, which offers the Blue Box real-time sync, as well as manual downloadable lists if you want them. And I'm also going to approach it from the one-off list section, which is where you just buy a list, and that's what you get. So if you're using Blue Box Sync, then you're going to want to watch the video, of course, in there, and a lot of this doesn't really matter so much because we're looking at a much longer term. However, if you want to get started right away, then these are the types of things you'd want to do so that you can get started using the auto-approved lists. The first thing you're going to want to do is clear out your target cache. So go to Modify Project and remove or clear target URL cache. What this is the URLs that are still in queue to post to. We can see them under show remaining target URLs. There happens to be 7,200. Say you have loaded in a large list of URLs. Before you can post to any URLs from my list, whether you're using Blue Box Sync or if you're just using your own list, you have to get through those 7,200 or whatever's in your cache before it'll do anything. So if you want to take the approach of getting the most verified links, then go ahead and work through those. That's fine. If you want to take the approach of getting like into the auto-approved list as fast as possible, maybe working on getting your links per minute up, but again, it's about verified links, not about links per minute, then you can go ahead and clear that cache. Go ahead and set this to status to active verify. What we're going to do is get rid of all these verification emails, and then we can even open this up here and go into the show URLs here and then show or submitted URLs rather, and we can actually just right click and go to select all and then just delete the selected URLs so that we wind up with zeros in this column. And then we're going to edit the project per Blue Box Sync, assuming we're using Blue Box, and make sure that we have our URL set to probably slot to the submitted. And then also you can go through here and check the different settings that I have in the long settings video where I cover a lot of things as far as optimized settings. But as far as getting started goes, those are the types of things that you would do for using Blue Box Sync. Of course, you want to make sure that you have fresh emails if this is an existing project, and ideally you're going to be changing the emails out one time per week, which is probably appropriately often enough. If you're building loads of links and you want to do it sooner, you can, or maybe stretch it out to 10 days. You could do that too. But emails, again, if you want to build new accounts, you need new fresh emails, and emails tend to die and get blocked and that sort of thing anyway. So probably changing these once every 5 to 10 days is going to be ideal. Now, if you want to approach this from using the manual lists in the section, or if you want to use one-off lists, same thing basically, then you have to do it a little bit differently because you won't be using Blue Box to bring the lists in, so you actually have to bring the lists in as well. So you would do the same thing. You do the active verify, you would do the show URLs and do the submitted, and we can clear this out, select everything, and then delete the selected URLs, and we'll have 0 in the submitted column. We can clear the cache, the target URL cache, and get rid of that so there's no URLs that are waiting to be posted to. But after we've done those types of things, we actually need to go and import the list. Again, following the settings I have in the settings video, and making sure that you have good working private proxies or shared proxies, that sort of thing. So obviously check all the basic stuff, make sure your CAPTCHA is set up right, make sure your proxies are set up right, and those sort of things. Just make sure you cover the basics so you don't forget. It's little things that'll get you. And then make sure you have fresh emails. But under options, we're going to go in here and we're going to use URLs from a global site list if enabled. Again, I would just uncheck all these and use the submitted. If you want to use the verified list, you can. It'll mix in my auto-approved list with your own verified list. That might be okay if you have an accurate verified list in, or if you're starting like a new project. But if you have an existing project, you probably have already used all those URLs, so it's just going to slow it down processing a bunch of links that you already have. So it's probably better to just stick with submitted. and do submitted. You can choose any folder, failed, submitted, or identified, but again, slot 2 submitted, it seems to be probably an ideal slot because some people can't get past failed and other people sort in targets into the identified section, and so submitted is not something that you need to keep a global list of, so I'm going to pick submitted. You can pick whatever folder you like. Click OK, and then what we're going to do is go into our global options and make sure submitted is not checked, and then we're going to set the folder to wherever we're going to put the list at. So the lists come in two formats. They come broken down by platform, which looks something like this, where it's all the text files, and then there's an actual whatever.sl, which is the site list file, which is all of these files just packed into one. So we have two different options. You can go ahead and use the submitted folder if you want, or you can make a new folder. So let me just make a new folder for simplicity's sake. So I went ahead and created a folder. I just called it list1. And let's say we want to go in here to submit it, and we need to change this folder to list1, which so happens to be on the actual desktop itself. And I'm just going to select it. So basically we're pointing this global folder at the list1, and note that you have to restart the projects there that pop up in order for that to take effect. So we pointed the global list, and then remember in our project options here, under edit and then under options, we actually told it to pull links from the global list of submitted, which is again slot 2. Don't think about them as the words here, think about them as slots 1, 2, 3, 4. Slot 2 submitted, we told it to pull links from that, and then we went in here to the global list and said under slot 2 submitted, here's the folder where this list is, and it is list 1. Now this is what the list will look like. They'll be broken down by platform, and they will be in a site list. You can do this either way, it does not matter. You can take all of these and just highlight them, copy them, and paste them over here, and away you go. And then you can start your projects and you're set. Or, if you would rather, you can go to project options here, and you can go to tools, and you can go to import site lists, and you can choose to import the successful, which is also the verified, or again slot 2, and go to that particular folder, which is here, a beta 3 list, and click, and it is going to do the exact same thing. So it really doesn't matter. If you have a preference, you can do either one, but essentially basically you're loading the list into a folder, and then you've told the global folder to pull from that folder you just loaded the list in, and then in your project you went in and told it under options to pull from that global folder, which is slot 2 submitted, and the slot 2 submitted folder is pointed at that list 1 folder that you just created. Call the folder whatever you want, put it wherever you want, and then you copied your files into it. So now when the project starts, it's going to pull lists from this submitted folder and make links for you. And that is how you can get going with the list, and the best way to do it, you can do this, right click and import targets by URLs here from file, or from site list. But the problem with that is that I did split testing, and I've read other people doing split testing on forums, and in some cases I got almost 50% more links, just depending on if it was highly contextual targets and if they were really hard with the CAPTCHAs, because what happens is when you import the site list, it does it once. It runs through the whole list once. But when you stick the list in that global folder, SER will continuously just pull random URLs from there and try to post to it. So if it pulls a URL and the CAPTCHAs fail, then later on it's going to pull that URL again, and the CAPTCHAs might not fail that time. So it continuously pulls URLs over and over and over again until it can get the most lists from it. So you won't probably get 50% in most cases. That was a rare case based on a specialized list, but the point is that in all the split tests I did, you do get more from there, and other people on forums have confirmed the same thing. So that's the best way to do it, and that is how you can import a list and get started right away and get going. And then check out my settings video for all the different settings that you want to set up in Search Engine Ranker to make sure that you're getting the most links out of it as well.